Now, in the literal sense of the word, this is going to be Modi's winter test. Whether the government will be able to push through its reforms agenda, which it has also tried to do in the past in the monsoon session or not, or will the index of opposition unity trounce upon the government and eventually put the government on the mat on crucial issues which they want raised, particularly on intolerance. Over the next half hour, we are going to look into each and every aspect, along with our executive editor Javed Ansari, as to what to expect from this particular session of Parliament. Is this going to be a winter freeze? Is there going to be a reforms frostbite in this winter freeze? Will the logjam continue? Will there be zero tolerance for a session, Parliament session? All that and much more will be a subject matter of discussion. But Javed, one thing very crucial that is going to happen this time around is the fact that all this is going to begin from Monday, not today, is it?
No, not today. Today and tomorrow, the first 2 days will be devoted to discussing the Constitution to mark the 125th birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So at least for these 2 days, House will run. But this is not to say that...
What is going to happen today? For instance, at 11 a.m., what's going to happen today?
The House will resume, they'll start the discussion. But in the course of this discussion, don't be too surprised if opposition parties now refer to how the constitutional provisions are being violated, the question of justice, of equality, liberty, of thought expression, these kind of things. So they will try and bring in their issues using this debate. This is par for the course. It's accepted parliamentary practice. So long as you debate and discuss, that will be a good beginning. But once the rubber hits the road on Monday, that's when the sparks will begin.
Okay, and it's anyone's guess at this moment. What if today, through the course of a discussion on Constitution Day, there is some bit of political commentary that is made by many leaders, whether it's from the Congress or from the BJP, whether they talk on intolerance or not?
That's precisely what I was saying when I said that they will use this. They will highlight the fact that some of the constitutional provisions are being violated, and they will use that to then focus on the question of intolerance, then focus on all that has been going on in the country.
Okay, a number of reactions that have in fact been coming in on this Parliament session even before it actually began. Let's first listen into that, and then we'll cut across live to Vijay Chowk right outside the Parliament, where we'll be joined in by India Today's Ashar Ahmed Khan. All right, let's go across now to Ashar Ahmed Khan, who joins us from outside Parliament. Morning, Ashar. Let me start by asking you, what are you expecting from this winter session? Just a short while back, just before this broadcast, Javed actually said that he does not expect a complete washout or a complete freeze. There can be some business.
Well, the stage is set. There are two important things which need to be done if the government wants to carry this session out. What we've been hearing from the Congress party, we heard the Congress Vice President yesterday in Bangalore, where he categorically said that nobody from the government has approached the Congress party. There are certain reservations which the Congress party has as far as the GST bill are concerned. There are basically 3 reservations which the Congress party has. Now, what the Congress party has been saying is that they are perhaps being treated shabbily. The government is not reaching out to them. They are not being consulted. Now, if they are consulted, they are pretty much ready to go along with, and that is what we expect. If there is proper consultation which is taking place between the government and the opposition, then perhaps there can be some business which could be legislated. Now, let us also remember there's a lot of pressure on the Congress party and the opposition parties to let the GST grow, because then they'll be seen as parties which are hampering progress of the nation. So that is also weighing heavily on the minds. But we'll have to wait and watch as to how the government approaches the opposition parties in this.
Overtures have been made, as Ashar is pointing out there. Thanks very much, Ashar. But do stay on with us. Now, for the purposes of understanding what is going to happen in the winter session, we have prepared an entire sequence of what could actually happen. What could the opposition actually want? And just a quick programming reminder, in the next 30 seconds, we are about to go across to India Today's consulting editor, Rajdeep Sardesai, who is in fact with us. Okay, we can go to him right now. We'll run these graphics later. Rajdeep Sardesai with the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Venkaiah Naidu. Morning, Rajdeep. It's over to you.
Morning, Sanket. Thanks very much. Yes, joining me now is one of the men of the moment, the Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister at the start of this crucial winter session of Parliament, Venkaiah Naidu. Thank you very much for joining us on India Today TV. The big question, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, you are celebrating Constitution Day today. There is a 2-day debate on Ambedkar and the Constitution. But the fact is that Parliament itself is at the crossroads. that the Ambedkar legacy of a parliamentary democracy is under threat because there is no lawmaking now being done, there is increasing disruption. How do you respond to that? That this is only a token celebration of Ambedkar, you have actually forgotten his message.
This is the concern of the people. That's why these 2-day special sittings, it's not a special session, are devoted mainly to our commitment to the Constitution, to remind ourselves what has been the wish of our founding fathers of the Constitution, and how to strengthen it, and secondly, part of 125th Jayanti celebrations of Baba Saheb Ambedkar.
But isn't it just tokenism, sir?
No.
A 2-day sitting,
I don't
is it
think
going to change the way come Monday, again the opposition and the government will be at loggerheads and parliament will not function? That is the fear that people have.
Rajdeep, you are expressing the concern of the people of the country. Even you have seen yesterday the boys and girls in Bangalore also, they also highlighted this fact that the need to allow the parliament to function. I do agree. And we have greater responsibility. But I am sure during the course of discussion today and tomorrow, everybody will realize it. That was the mood in yesterday's all-party meeting also. And we will be visiting upon what has happened in the past, and then we will be laying path for the progress. And then our commitment to Constitution, we have to exhibit in deeds,
Yes,
not in words.
I'll tell you what the narrative is. The narrative is that the 15th Lok Sabha, the BJP was in the opposition, you prevented the Congress and the UPA from functioning. Now it is the 16th Lok Sabha, we saw what happened in the monsoon session. This is now tit for tat. This is not about Ambedkar, sir. Ambedkar has been forgotten. Ambedkar wanted Parliament to be a forum for debate.
Yeah.
Both the opposition and the government have forgotten their responsibility.
2004, first time a BJP-led government has come. Congress has obstructed. 2009, the Congress government has come. BJP has obstructed.
You accept that?
No, one has to accept there was obstructions at times. I can't simply say no obstruction at all, at times. So both of us has to learn lessons and also understand the aspirations of the people.
So who is going to reach out to whom? Because as you said, you claimed that the all-party mood was that Parliament should discuss, should legislate. The goods and services tax, for example, is a crucial indirect tax reform waiting to be legislated. Is the Prime Minister willing to pick up the phone personally and speak to Sonia Gandhi or speak to the opposition leaders and try and break the logjam?
There is no logjam as on now. I can tell you, yesterday the Prime Minister himself said in the all-party meeting, saying that my finance minister will be talking to the Congress party and other friends.
Now, why doesn't the Prime Minister personally?
That is your suggestion. The Prime Minister personally spoke in the all-party meeting. All-party, including Congress, both the leaders were there. You are giving a suggestion that I will pass it on to Prime Minister.
The reason I am saying this, one criticism is Narendra Modi ji doesn't take Parliament seriously, does not participate in debates, does not even attend Parliament.
That is a wrong perception that sought to be created. Prime Minister is always there in Parliament, but he intervenes as and when required.
How would you then say, are you confident therefore that the goods and services tax will be passed? Importantly, that this winter session will not go down the way of the monsoon session. Opposition wants a debate on intolerance. They have now sent a notice, they want a debate on intolerance.
Yes.
Are you willing to accept that
If you read my note yesterday, even before the opposition raised that issue from the government side, I said government is willing to discuss even the so-called intolerance, though that is not our perception, but still, and it's in the domain of the states, but I said we will discuss that issue also, number one. Number two, on GST also, we are already in discussion with other parties. Number three, more pertinently what you have said, party after party yesterday said, and more particularly regional parties, small parties, we are denied of an opportunity in Parliament to discuss important issues related to our states, related to our region and all. So Parliament should function. That was the common suggestion by almost all parties.
So
at the end of the day,
isolated.
I don't use the word isolation, etc. Congress also endorsed the same and said they will definitely cooperate. They have certain views on GST. My finance minister yesterday after PM said it in the House, immediately in the meeting, I talked to Kargeji and Ajaji, asked them, can we meet today? They said, no, let us wait for a day. Meanwhile, we will discuss. I asked them, name the people.
So you are confident? Well, you are confident that the GST can be passed?
Yes, I am confident because the mood of the country is one for this legislation and at the earliest, because there is a deadline 2016 April.
Yes.
So I am sure the Congress friends, because after all it is their legislation.
Yes.
5 successive finance ministers of different states, there was subcommittees, they discussed it at length, and then finally there is a broad consensus. Lok Sabha approved it with overwhelming majority, with no opposition practically, and Rajya Sabha has afforded it to a select committee has completed its work, it has come back.
So can I ask you therefore the larger picture? The larger picture, as you said at the start, people today increasingly believe that parliamentary democracy has become dysfunctional, that even question hour is not allowed sometimes to take place. Are you worried? As one of the senior politicians of this country, are you worried that parliamentary democracy is becoming dysfunctional?
I don't make a sweeping comment, but at the same time you get depressed the way things are happening. Everybody is concerned about it. People want collaborative politics, not confrontational politics. People want parliament to function, discuss and debate. I am mandated to perform and fulfill the assurances given. They are mandated to act as a watchdog. That's why I say, let the opposition have its say, government will have its way. At the end of the day, that is democracy.
So therefore, my final question to you is the problem a lack of mutual respect? That the opposition doesn't respect the government. There are elements in the opposition who may not even give the Prime Minister the respect he deserves, and the Prime Minister doesn't give the opposition the respect it deserves. Tali do haath se bajti hai, Venkaiah Naidu. Both sides have to start respecting each other.
Definitely, we respect the opposition. We are willing to walk an extra mile to reach out the opposition. That's what we have been doing.
The Prime Minister has contempt for them.
I don't know.
A section of the opposition.
One problem with some opposition parties, I don't want to name them, is they are not able to digest the mandate of the people. That Narendra Modi has become Prime Minister and with a massive mandate, and is doing extremely well. But point is, I don't want to quarrel on that count. Government is willing to discuss each and every issue. People should understand the mood of the nation, and we should all cooperate and see that the parliament functions.
Therefore, if Ambedkar was alive today, do you think he would be sad at what he is seeing happening in front of him?
Naturally, and we are sad. When we are sad, the present generation is sad of what is happening in parliament. Ambedkar would have been much more sad.
Venkaiah Naidu, I appreciate your talking to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was Venkaiah Naidu giving us a sense of what is likely to happen in the winter session of Parliament. He is claiming that the logjam will be broken, that parliamentarians do want the House to function. Back to you, Sanket.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Rajdeep Sardesai, in conversation with Venkaiah Naidu. What do you make of this interview? With the tone and tenor of Venkaiah Naidu, Javed, do you think that they're very hopeful that this time around they'll be able to get the opposition to come around?
Well, they are a bit positive, a lot more positive than what they were in the monsoon session of Parliament. And perhaps the reason for it is that there is some kind of meeting ground. Some headway has been made. But I say this, I'm still very cautious. They're cautiously optimistic would be the right word, because some headway has been made. GST can be passed, but not without the help of the Congress party. There are 3 issues which the Congress has now highlighted. At least 2 the government will have to concede for GST to see light.
Okay. Thank God that you said that. Let's quickly play out those graphics that we were about to show you just a short while back when Venkaiah Naidu happened. What the opposition seeks. The index of opposition unity at test. And Javed, let's talk about them one by one. Triggering the winter freeze, what opposition seeks. Amendments to the GST and land bill. Is this an absolute clear, my way or the highway approach for the opposition? Are they ready to relent on this front, or will the opposition really want amendments before they move ahead?
Look, as far as GST is concerned, some of the concerns, like I was saying earlier, the Congress party had put forward 5 or 6, they've now whittled it down to 3. From what I gather, at least 2 of the 3 will have to be considered for the Congress party to lend its support.
Okay.
If they don't, because this is a constitution amendment bill, you require 2/3 majority of both houses present in voting to support the bill for its passage. So unless the Congress party lends its shoulder to the bill, it will not see light of day. It is in the interest of the government, also that of the country, for both sides to come to some kind of agreement.
And that is why there are hectic parleys on this front.
Yes, and this is not something uncommon. I've seen this in my years of experience, that behind the scenes people negotiate, both parties negotiate, several parties negotiate, and they reach a consensus.
Okay. Let's load point number 2 on this plasma at this moment. Now, this, I think, is very clear, Javed. A debate on intolerance. This, I think, everyone apart from the BJP, or maybe some people in the BJP also want a debate on intolerance. You've got a lot that has happened between the monsoon session and the winter session as far as this word intolerance is concerned.
You know, in all this din and furor and the noise, what is lost out is that it's not just the opposition. It's not just people from the film fraternity who are and writers who are raising this question. Mr. Naresh Gujral, the Akali Dal MP, Akali Dal is a constituent of the NDA. He was the first to flag this concern several months ago. The government, in its wisdom, decided to disregard it. So these are concerns, these are issues which concern people cutting across party lines. You can't wish this away.
Okay.
Perhaps the government has done the right thing by indicating that it's willing for a debate. The idea is you allow a debate, allow people to air their views, and then debate an issue away rather than allow it to fester.
Okay, let's see if we've got Ashar Ahmed Khan with us. If Ashar is with us, we'll take the next 3 points. We'll take the next 3 points on this graphic representation of what the opposition wants and get in a word from Ashar. Let's load point number 3 on this graphic. Point number 3 talks about addressing the issue of award wapsi. Point number 4 is the Prime Minister's direct intervention. That means the Prime Minister get up and speak on both the houses, in both the houses on all these issues. Let's load that particular point on this graphic where the opposition wants the Prime Minister to speak on all these issues and also to discuss the agrarian crisis. So that's point number 3, 4 and 5 as far as the opposition's what actually opposition wants. Let's go across to Ashar Ahmed Khan. Okay, we'll try going across to Ashar in just a short moment, but Javed, it all boils down to this. The fact that the opposition is saying that we want the Prime Minister to speak, discussing the agrarian crisis, the fact that most parts of your country are drought hit, the fact that there is an award wapsi challenge which the government is facing. All these 5 issues combined, can the government take it?
Look, the government can take it because it has the numbers in the Lok Sabha. But all this can be surmounted. This is not something new. This is not for the first time that you see a logjam in Parliament. What is happening is there's a total breakdown of dialogue. In fact, there is no dialogue between the Prime Minister and the leadership of the opposition parties, especially that of the Congress party. Much of this can be solved if the Prime Minister has a one-to-one with, say, the Congress President, or maybe call the senior Congress leaders, call the Congress President, Vice President, Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, call Kharge, have a one-to-one, discuss this. I'm sure a lot of this. Because there's an absolute breakdown, there is no dialogue between the Prime Minister and those who matter on the opposition benches, that you're seeing this issue. We've seen this, Mr. Vajpayee and Narasimha Rao, Mr. Vajpayee and Rajiv Gandhi, Advaniji and Rajiv, they had huge differences, but at the end of the day, one phone call used to do the trick.
Absolutely, and here you have had 2 all-party meetings and still there is no, the impasse has not ended.
Look, these meetings don't yield anything because everybody's, talks on stated lines. They all talk for the cameras. Everybody says all the nice things. It's only behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, you need to talk. You need to be able to negotiate.
Okay. Javed, do stay on with us. We are stopping for a short break on 9 AM Live. When we come back, we'll go greater into detail as to what to expect from this 1 month long session. Is this going to be like the monsoon session, or can we actually see business? Will the government be successful to have its floor strategy in place? And will the opposition come around?
Mani pa ma ga ni pa ma ga sa ni pa ma ni sa pa sa jahan tak yaad aati rahegi